This is the third in a series of looking at social theory and the purpose of sociology. Now this contains a number of different social theorists and their views on why we study what we study. In your extra credit, you'll be asked to give your own opinion. And this is just your own opinion and why you hold that opinion. Neil deGrasse Tyson is actually a physicist, and he says the good thing about science is that it's true, whether you believe in it or not, and that gravity works, even if you don't believe in it, that the sun's rays go through the atmosphere and are trapped. Whether you believe it or not, it happens. Sociology is about making society visible, according to some theorists. Durkheim, one of the first theorists, says we are victims of an illusion that leads us to believe we ourselves produce what has been imposed on us externally. So we produce our beliefs. We think our beliefs are unique to us and that we have created them. But Durkheim says that's an illusion, that in fact society has given you the beliefs. And then Bourdieu, while not saying that society causes everything, does say that sociologist is to reveal what is hidden. So making society visible, and that is in fact an empowering thing, because then you can make choices, knowing which ones are provided to you through society and which ones are different. Harriet Martineau, she argues that it's hard to tell which is worse, the wide diffusion of things that are not true or the suppression of things that are true. So she's arguing, again, sociologists can help us understand what is misinformation, what is spread, and then what is suppressed. But she argues that science has to be science, that it has to be scientific, objective, systematic, not improving society, but science for knowledge's sake. Durkheim again, society fashioning us in its image fills us with religious, political, moral beliefs that control our actions. And things that are perceived as real become real. Durkheim is very much sociology, or science in fact, or social society imposes us, imposes its will on us. Karl Marx says, we make our own history. We are social actors, but we do not make it as we please. We operate under circumstances existing already. So there's history and culture and society that impose on us and that shapes the way we are actors. Now Max Weber argues the truth is the truth, in the way that Neil deGrasse Tyson argues science is true whether you believe it or not. And sociology is a science for Max Weber. Our objective is to interpret the meaning of the action and give a causal explanation, X causes Y, in which actions precede and effect is what is produced. He goes on to say whenever a man of science introduces his personal value judgments, a full understanding of the facts cease. That in fact if you implement your values, you no longer understand as well as if you were objective. W.E.B. Du Bois, he argues that sociology is about producing knowledge, and that if we don't have this knowledge, we will either destroy ignorance or ignorance will destroy us. W.B. Du Bois is very much in the fashion of social science dispels illusions. He talked about double consciousness. One ever feels his two-ness, an American and a Negro, two souls, two thoughts, two unreconcilable strivings, two warring ideals in one dark body whose strength alone keeps it from being torn asunder. Jane Addams, a contemporary of W.E.B. Du Bois, she says that the accumulation of knowledge, the holding of convictions, social science, in fact, must result in the application of those knowledge. So she's arguing that knowledge is not just understanding, not just dispelling illusions, but acting upon those to improve society. C. Wright Mills argues that the imagination sociologist allows us to understand both society and the individual and the relations between those two. So again, he first starts off with, it is the knowledge that helps us. We need to dispel illusions. We need to look at how society impacts us and how we impact society. Then he goes on to say, it is to turn personal trouble into social issues. For example, unemployment during COVID is not because you were a bad employee. And that sociology is to help individuals become self-educated, dispelling illusions, and then be reasonable and free. Feminist social scientists, these are a number of them. Research objectives include constructing new knowledge and producing social change. Feminist social theory are informed by women's struggles against multiple forms of oppression and about improving, producing social change. And then feminist social science requires that issues such as anti-racism and diversity, democratic decision-making, empowerment of women are addressed, including traditionally marginalized women. So feminist social science is about social change also. Bourdieu concludes, it is to give weapons against knowledge, weapons against society, weapons of knowledge. And sociology is a means of self-defense against what society imposes on us. And basically, you use it to defend yourself without having the right to use it for unfair tactics. Joe Fagan says it's time for us to recover and celebrate our historical roots committed to social justice in ideals and practice. So he is arguing, let's go back to Jane Addams and know that the accumulation of knowledge is to impact our society. Professor Margaret Abraham, she is arguing the same thing. We need to reflect, respond, recognize our responsibilities in these grim times. This is a contemporary saying. And she says sociologists can play a key role in the formidable task, reviving hope and crafting a better future in an inclusive and just world. Social science gives us knowledge, the tools to dispel illusions, and the way to make productive change. You will need to but weigh in. What do you think social science should do? And that will be your extra credit, along with talking about who is your favorite social theorist. The last, and I'll leave with this, philosophers have only interpreted the world in various ways. The point is to change it.